Hello and a huge welcome to our smart reseller community, and welcome to another That's a Smart Idea, the weekly 1-minute video that never ever lasts a minute. I'm really sorry if you get annoyed about that, guys. It's tough. We have so much to say here at Smart, so it never lasts a minute, where we here at Smart help you, our smart resellers, sell more smart business products into your customers and add value to your smart business proposition. So today you join me at That's Smart Idea Towers, aka my home, and I am very pleased to say I have been joined by Steven Marinoske of Smart Technologies. Hi, Steve.
Hi, how are you doing, Colin?
I'm great, and so I'm a little bit nervous here, Steve, because this is a big deal for me, because I've wanted you on That's a Smart Idea since I started the show back earlier last year. And to be honest with you, what I'm going to say about Steve, everyone, is every time I speak to Steve, I learn something new. So it's a real thrill having him on That's a Smart Idea this week. So, Steve, for those of you who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do at Smart, what your position is there?
Sure. So I've been with Smart now for close to 5 years, but I'm a senior product manager with them, and my focus is on our business products. I come in with a heavy software focus. I've got over 20 years, close to 25 years of software product management experience. So, and as a product manager, I basically act as a CEO of the product ecosystem I'm in charge of. And I'm the guy that links the finance guys, the marketing guys, the sales guys, the support, and so on all together for the product portfolio.
You definitely the business glue. Definitely, Steve. You do hold that side of it together, which is really great. So thanks for that. So, Steve, we've been selling Smart TeamWorks for a little while. We're just finishing with TeamWorks 4, which has been hugely successful. And for those of our resellers who don't know what TeamWorks is, and they're maybe venturing into selling B2B products for the first time, tell us a little bit about what TeamWorks is. Tell us what it does essentially.
Well, it's got a pretty big aspiration with what the overall product does, which is basically it's a single ecosystem that manages just about every type of meeting scenario that a business would face, right? So businesses are looking, when you walk into a room, like a meeting room, you're wanting to walk in there for a face-to-face meeting, maybe a web conferencing meeting, sharing screens. While you're there, you want to maybe capture notes, right? Capture notes. You want to ideate. You maybe want to have interaction of some sort where you're working with somebody either in room or even remotely on modifying some of the product or getting feedback to it and that sort of idea. So it strives to support all of those in room meeting scenarios, but also taking into account where every meeting to some extent is going to have some form of hybrid interactivity with it as well. So we're looking to give that, the new term is that they're coining is meeting equity, right? So it strives to provide that meeting equity in as many mechanisms as possible for people.
And I think one of the great things about TeamWorks, and again, forgive me, obviously, there's a lot of people out there who may not know what it does. If you're out there selling room systems, our system is not dedicated to one particular platform. That's right, isn't it? We can work with different platforms for different types of things that people might have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like right behind you, on your IFP behind you, obviously you got TeamWorks up and running. And for those people that maybe the first time seeing it, what happens when you walk into a meeting? Perhaps it's a meeting room. Are you having a Teams meeting? Are you having a Zoom meeting, a WebEx, or one of multiple ones up to, there's close to 20 or more of these different type of web conferences. TeamWorks supports all of those. So as behind you, you can enter in the different web conferences. You can do whiteboarding. You could do get wirelessly presenting. You can access all the apps that you have on that TeamWorks computer. So you're not locked into an ecosystem that you can't get out of. So many people have powerful computers running these conference type of rooms and everything, and you can actually utilize that conference computer to run any sort of program that you want to run on your Windows 10 or 11 environment while in TeamWorks. So yeah.
Yeah, that describes it really well. Thanks, Steve. So obviously, like I said, we're just leaving TeamWorks 4. We just launched TeamWorks 5, which has made some big improvements on where we've been. What the improvements that people can expect on TeamWorks 5 right now?
Well, some of the bigger ones is we've geared it more for occasional users. So we realize that there's a lot of times when people are walking into a room, it's the first time they walked in there. You might have outside guests that are joining. You might have someone who's maybe using that room once a week, once every few weeks, and so for all intents and purposes, it's the first time they're using it, right? So there's an appless environment that now people walking into that room, they can share their own personal web conference calls. Just copy a link into a browser and bang, it promotes your web conference call to that TeamWorks room. So rather than using your phone to contact, to join a web conference call or that sort of idea, why not use the camera, the microphone, the speakers that are within that room to operate that web conference call and do it without an app? So that's one. You can join that interactive whiteboard. We call it our workspace. Again, you can do that without an app as well. So that's done in a browser environment as well. The biggest hero feature, though, that we've got is now out of the box with TeamWorks Room, you have support for sharing out your workspace, your interactive whiteboard, if you will, with anybody anywhere in the world, and that comes with your purchase of TeamWorks. It's not an additional add-on, and it's something that's there into perpetuity. So it's something that's going to be supported for the life of your product use in your business. So that's huge.
Yeah, which is great, really, because it's great that there's no ongoing costs where our end users are concerned. I think it's got really great applications. From what I've shown so far, people love the new user interface. Like you said, you made it more straightforward for people coming in and starting those meetings. But I think that it's going to open up a lot of people where they're looking front of house, where maybe someone's not going to have that app that he can come in and start launching a meeting and using the assets in the room quite easily, rather than having to have apps on your phone and things like that, which sometimes are locked down. So I think they're really good benefits. So obviously, bearing in mind, we've improved the solution. Can you give us a bit of a sneak peek into the future of TeamWorks at all, Steve?
Sure. One of the things that we've actually just recently put out, and I think you've got another session on it, is the admin portal part of TeamWorks, right? So that's the ability where you can deploy TeamWorks. You can have admin and monitoring. You can pull room use statistics. Figure out how much your rooms are actually used, how often, by how many people. So that's all great. But what happens, we're going to make even more improvements to that. So we're going to enable deeper and broader capture of metrics, of usage metrics, of what's going on, deeper integration with third-party peripherals. Like right now, we already support the ability to have people count with your Jabra cameras and your Hudley cameras, right? Well, we're going to extend out our third-party support and monitoring of what we're going to be able to do with that. We're also going to we talked about the appless, the browser experience. We're going to consolidate all that into even a more simpler single-use interface for people to kind of come into the into the TeamWorks ecosystem, right? And then we're also going to have, and I'll just tease this one a little bit, there's a lot of hesitation for people coming into a meeting room to actually have to stand in front of that interactive touchscreen every time to use it for every single meeting, right? Why should you have to do that when perhaps you can have some sort of control mechanism at the table?
That sounds interesting, Steve.
Yeah, so it's TeamWorks has support for third-party control mechanisms, but wouldn't it be nice to have a fully smart branded solution for that? So stay tuned.
That's really exciting news. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for giving us that little glimpse into the future of TeamWorks 5. I'd like to thank you for coming on. It's been a real pleasure having you on, a thrill having you on. That's a smart idea. Thank you, Steve. I just want to say to all our resellers out there, please continue to engage Charlie and I in the UK and my colleagues in North America for demos. We're doing a lot of remote demos. You can see we've got TeamWorks on our displays based in our personal demo spaces. Please still engage on that. Remember that That's a Smart Idea is for you, our reseller community. So this has been designed you basically, if you want something for us to talk about or do a deep dive on, please leave a comment below or send me a message, and I'll certainly investigate and find the right person at Smart that we can interview, or one of our partners that we can talk to and bring them into the conversation, have a that's a smart idea on that. So until the next time, I'd like to say a big thank you to our resellers. Thank you for all your efforts so far, and thank you for joining us. And that's been a smart idea. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Colin.